What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Pitching Ninja's Filthiest Pitches of the Day. Remember, before we get to those pitches, hit that subscribe button. Join Ninja Nation. Be a part of the biggest and best daily baseball show on YouTube. And now, without further ado, here are my Filthiest Pitches of the Day. I'm going to start with Merrill Kelly, who had 5 Ks in 5 innings, giving up 2 runs. He picked up strikeouts on his fastballs, including these elevated fastballs, as well as this nasty cutter. And he faced Clark Schmidt, who had 3 Ks in 4 innings, giving up 2 runs, and had these 2-seamers, cutter, and knuckle curve. Justin Verlander was outstanding yesterday with 8 strikeouts in 8 innings, giving up 1 run on only 3 hits. He dominated with his mix of fastballs and sliders, and had 11 whiffs for the game, 5 of them coming on his fastball. He faced Luis Castillo, who had 8 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 5 runs. Castillo had 13 total whiffs for the game, 7 coming on his fastball. He had these beautifully painted 99-mile-an-hour heaters, as well as these sick 2-seamers and nasty changeup. Jon Gray had 7 strikeouts in 6 innings, giving up only 1 run. He had this 97-mile-an-hour fastball, but the slider was the big story of the game for him. He picked up 9 whiffs on 21 swings on his slider, had this painted slider, this one at the knees, and also picked up a White Castle special on his slider. You remember a White Castle special is a strikeout on 3 disgusting sliders. He faced Patrick Sandoval, who had 2 Ks in 3 innings, giving up 2 hits, no runs, but 5 walks, which got him in trouble. He got Ks on the sweeper and changeup. My co-filthiest starting pitchers of the day faced off against each other, Logan Webb and Blake Snell. Logan Webb threw a complete game yesterday with 7 strikeouts, giving up only 1 run and 9 hits. He had these filthy 2-seamers, sliders, and changeups, and got 7 whiffs on his changeup. And he faced Blake Snell, who was outstanding again yesterday and surely locked up his 2nd Cy Young Award. Snell had 7 strikeouts in 6 innings, giving up 4 hits and no runs. He really spread his whiffs around with his fastball, curveball, and changeup all picking up a ton of whiffs. His fastball was overpowering as always. His changeup is underrated, and here's a home plate view of it. He's got a nearly 47% whiff rate on that changeup this season. But once again, his curveball stole the show. His curveball was absolutely dirty and picked up a bunch of swords. He has an amazing 56% whiff rate on his curveball this season, which is by far the highest whiff rate of any curveball with over 500 plate appearances. Hitters are only hitting .079 for the season against his curveball. And Snell's curveball is the 6th most valuable pitch in baseball for the season. Also, a shout out to home plate umpire Mark Carlson, who called this curveball a strike despite this terrible framing on it. If we ever get robo-umps, this is a strike all day long, even though it doesn't really look like it. Here's an overlay of Snell's fastball and curveball, and you can see why that combination is so tough for hitters. His fastball gets on you really quick, so you have to make a quick decision, and if you get a curveball instead, it's a sword for you. And Snell's high arm slot makes it really tough to pick up his pitches. Snell now has 23 consecutive starts, giving up 3 earned runs or less, and a 1.2 ERA since May 25th. In the last 100 years, only Bob Gibson put up a lower ERA over a 23-game stretch. And Blake Snell is the first pitcher to allow 20 runs or fewer and get 170 Ks or more over a 23-start span. His ERA is now almost a half run better than anybody else in baseball. Truly an historic season for Blake Snell. Now onto my filthiest relievers. Ian Hamilton had this 96-mile-an-hour paint. Greg Weissert had these fastballs. Brian Abreu had this nasty curveball. And my filthiest reliever of the day yesterday was Clay Holmes for this sweeper that broke 21 inches. I know there's been a ton of confusion about a sweeper versus slider and why we have 2 different pitch types. And this should hopefully put that debate to sleep once and for all. Here's a Clay Holmes slider that has 0 inches of horizontal break. It's almost a pure gyro slider. Think of the way a bullet spins. It tends to go straight, but then just drops. But doesn't drop as fast as, say, a 12-6 curveball that has top spin. And then here is Clay Holmes' sweeper. Yep, he throws both a slider and a sweeper. And that sweeper has a 21-inch break. A sweeper is a subset of sliders, just like a square is a subset of rectangles. But as you can see in this overlay, these pitches move very different. If you called both of these pitches sliders, well, how's a catcher supposed to call for something, or a hitter supposed to really understand a scouting report when you say, oh, this pitcher has a slider? you'd have to say this pitcher has two types of sliders, a gyro slider and one that sweeps. Hence the name, Sweeper. Hopefully this all makes sense now.
That's right, welcome back to Dong of the Week, a polytheistic religion where we pray to gods like Tommy, Sosa, and Pujols, and we will be rewarded handsomely in the afterlife. This week we're kicking it off with a historic dong, and that's the dong that put Ronald Acuna Jr. in the 40-40 club. Only the fifth member, but he's not stopping there. He's currently got 68 steals, and he's trying to join the 40-70 club as the sole member. But congrats to the long dong legend. He was featured on this show just about every week, and frankly, I'm sick of looking at him, but he had a spectacular season. Next, we're going to the shortest dong of the week, and that's for Luis Robert. Absolutely shafting me and the Red Sox with this 311-foot wimp job to win the game. Gotta love Lou Bob taking advantage of Fenway Park. I have to apologize. In the last segment, I dong shamed somebody. And I pride myself in thinking myself as a man of faith, as there's a drive to deep left field by Castellanos that'll be a home run. 454 feet. The long dong of the week goes to this good old-fashioned bitch slap of a ball by Juan Soto. 461 feet in the gas lamp. Hey, the Padres might stink this year, but they're ending on a high note because that's your dong of the week.
And now my pitching ninja moment of zen. This ball boy most certainly is not fielding ninja. What is up, everybody? My picks of the day today are a three-leg parlay. I'm going to start out with Michael King for 6 Ks or more, then take Zach Eflin for 6 Ks or more, and top it off with Christian Javier for 6 Ks or more. What would your picks of the day be?